Have you ever held on to someone hoping they would change only to realize that the more you cling, the more you lose yourself? It's a painful truth, but it's one of the most powerful lessons you will ever learn. Letting go isn't about giving up. It's about freeing yourself. Every person who refuses to value you, every relationship that drains your energy, every connection built on expectation rather than respect, they're not your burden to fix. They are your opportunity to release. Holding on to people who don't value you is one of quietest but most destructive habits you can carry. At first, it doesn't seem harmful. You think you're being loyal, patient, or kind. You tell yourself that relationships are about compromise and that love, friendship, or connection requires sacrifice. And yes, compromise is necessary, but not when it comes at the cost of your self-respect, your energy, and your emotional well-being. Every moment you spend trying to make someone see your worth is a moment you are silently telling yourself that your happiness is secondary to their choices, their moods, and their approval. That is heavy, and it weighs on your soul in ways you may not even notice. When you hold on to someone who doesn't value you, your energy becomes tied to their actions, their attention, their recognition. You begin to overthink every word they say, every gesture, every silence. You find yourself analyzing and rationalizing behavior that should have been clear from the start. Your mind becomes a battlefield where self-doubt and insecurity grow louder every day while your confidence quietly fades into the background. You start to question your worth, your instincts, and even your reality, all because you are trying to force someone to value you when they are unwilling or incapable of doing so. This is not love, not loyalty, not friendship. This is self-imposed suffering. And it is entirely unnecessary. Holding on to the wrong people keeps you in a cycle of expectation and disappointment. You hope they will change. You hope they will notice, appreciate, or reciprocate. You hope that one day your loyalty or your patience will be rewarded, but hope alone cannot replace respect, attention, or genuine care. When people consistently fail to see your value, it is not a reflection of your inadequacy. It is a reflection of their limitations. And yet, while they remain limited, your potential, your joy, and your inner peace are being compromised every day you choose to hold on. The truth is that holding on is not about them, it's about you. It is about your fear of being alone, your fear of losing what is familiar, even if it is toxic, and your fear of stepping into the unknown. But clinging to someone who doesn't appreciate you only prolongs your pain. It keeps you tethered to someone who has no intention of lifting you up, supporting your growth, or honoring your presence. It is like carrying a heavy stone in your hands while refusing to put it down, thinking somehow that it will eventually feel lighter if you just hold on a little longer. The stone does not become lighter. It only becomes heavier, and eventually it crushes your spirit. Every time you continue to hold on, you are silently prioritizing someone else's presence over your own peace. You are telling yourself that being valued by them is more important than your mental and emotional health, your self-esteem, and your freedom. But the moment you recognize this, you begin to see the clarity you have been missing. The energy you waste on trying to earn someone's validation, affection, or loyalty can be redirected to yourself. Your focus can shift to your dreams, your growth, your passions, and the relationships that genuinely nurture and uplift you. Letting go is not about anger, revenge, or punishment. It is a conscious choice to protect your energy and honor your worth. It is about understanding that your value is inherent and does not require external approval. When you stop holding on, you stop giving power to those who do not deserve it, and you reclaim the space that belongs to you. That space becomes the soil for your growth, the canvas for your potential, and the energy you need to thrive. Once you release someone who does not value you, you immediately feel lighter, freer, and more focused. You begin to notice the people, opportunities, and experiences that align with your energy. You begin to recognize that the world is abundant, that connection is possible without compromise to your self-respect, and that every moment you spend honoring yourself multiplies the quality of your life exponentially. Letting go is an act of self-respect, not weakness. There is a misconception that walking away from someone, ending a relationship, or releasing a connection is a sign of failure or inadequacy. Many people believe that holding on, enduring the pain, and tolerating disrespect is proof of strength. But true strength is not measured by how much you endure. It is measured by how much you honor yourself. Letting go is a declaration that your peace, your dignity, and your energy are non-negotiable. It is a bold statement that you refuse to allow anyone to diminish your value or steal your joy. And that is the most courageous act you can commit to yourself. When you choose to let go, you are choosing yourself over the chaos that others bring into your life. You are prioritizing your well-being over the need to be liked, to be validated, or to be needed. This is not selfishness, it is clarity. It is the understanding that your life, your time, and your emotions are sacred, and that you cannot give your best to the world if you continue to pour energy into people who do not respect or appreciate you. Many people spend years clinging to relationships that no longer serve them, thinking that their loyalty will eventually be rewarded. The reality is that loyalty without reciprocity is not noble, it is draining. Letting go is the acknowledgement that your loyalty and love are precious and they deserve to be returned, not wasted. There is a misconception that letting go means you have to feel anger, regret, or guilt. You don't. Letting go can be calm, steady, and empowering. It is not about punishing someone else. It is about honoring yourself. It is about deciding that your happiness does not depend on anyone who cannot see your worth. The people who fail to value you will continue to live their lives in the way that reflects their choices, but your life is yours to shape, and you do not need their approval to do it. Every step you take away from those who do not value you is a step toward freedom, toward clarity, and toward the life you were always meant to live. Letting go is also an act of courage because it challenges fear. Fear is the reason most people remain stuck. Fear tells you that you will be alone, that you will lose something important, that life will become harder without them. But what you fail to realize is that the greater risk is staying. The greater danger is remaining in a space where your value is ignored, where your voice is dismissed, and where your heart is taken for granted. Every moment you remain in that place is a moment spent living someone else's version of reality instead of your own. Letting go is the courageous choice to reclaim your narrative, to take control of your life, and to build a future that reflects your worth, not their shortcomings. When you release someone from your life who does not honor you, something shifts almost instantly. You begin to notice the weight that has been lifted from your shoulders, the clarity that begins to fill your mind, and the energy that returns to your body. You realize that your time, attention, and love are valuable resources, and that they are best spent on people and experiences that uplift, inspire, and reciprocate. Letting go transforms your mindset. It reshapes your self-perception. It teaches you that you are not responsible for anyone else's inability to recognize your worth, and that you are strong enough to walk away without apology. Letting go is an act of self-respect because it communicates a fundamental truth. You are enough, you are worthy, and your life is too precious to be wasted on people who do not see it. You are not weak for choosing yourself. You are not heartless for stepping away from those who hurt or drain you. You are not abandoning anyone. You are embracing the only person whose presence you can always control your own. Each act of release strengthens you, clarifies your boundaries, and deepens your understanding of what it truly means to honor yourself. Releasing toxic relationships creates space for new opportunities and positive connections. Many people underestimate the power of creating space in their lives. We fill our time, our hearts, and our energy with people who drain us, criticize us, or take more than they give. And in doing so, we leave little room for growth, joy, and the relationships that could actually elevate our lives. Holding on to toxicity, whether it comes from friends, family, or romantic partners, is like planting weeds in a garden and expecting flowers to bloom. The weeds consume nutrients, sunlight, and water, leaving the flowers weak and stunted. When you remove what doesn't belong, you allow room for life to thrive. Toxic relationships are subtle in the way they invade your life. They don't always scream betrayal or cruelty. Sometimes they are quiet, persistent, and disguised as familiarity or obligation. They may come from people who criticize you under the guise of helping, who take without giving, or who make you question your worth daily. These relationships are heavy. They pull on your energy, cloud your judgment, and leave you doubting yourself. Yet many continue to hold on because it feels uncomfortable to let go, because the familiar, even when harmful, feels safer than the unknown. The truth is, safety is an illusion when you remain tethered to what harms you. Real safety is in freedom, clarity, and alignment with the people and experiences that nourish your growth. Releasing toxic relationships is not just about cutting someone out of your life. It is about creating a higher vibration for yourself. It is about clearing the clutter that prevents abundance from entering. Every person, every habit, every thought that drains you takes space that could otherwise be used to attract positivity. When you choose to let go, you are actively deciding that your life will no longer be dictated by negativity, manipulation, or disrespect. You are choosing a higher standard for the people you allow into your life, and you are signaling to the universe that you are ready for growth, opportunity, and connection that aligns with your energy. The moment you release toxicity, your world begins to shift. Suddenly, the people who match your energy start to appear. The opportunities you have been waiting for become visible. The ideas, inspiration, and motivation that were buried under the weight of negative influence surface, giving you clarity and direction. Letting go is not about isolation. It is about alignment. It is about attracting relationships and experiences that reflect your worth rather than diminish it. When you create space for what truly belongs in your life, the universe responds with synchronicity, and life begins to flow in ways you could never force or predict. Releasing toxic connections also strengthens your emotional intelligence and boundaries. You begin to recognize patterns of behavior that once went unnoticed. You become more discerning about who you invest in, and you stop tolerating disrespect disguised as friendship or love. This clarity transforms not only your relationships, but also your self-perception. You start to realize that your happiness is not negotiable, that your peace is not disposable, and that the only approval you truly need is your own. You learn that walking away does not mean failure, it means evolution. Positive connections are a natural consequence of this process. When you let go, you free yourself to engage with people who respect your time, honor your boundaries, and uplift your energy. You allow yourself to meet individuals who inspire you, challenge you in healthy ways, and celebrate your growth rather than suppress it. Life becomes richer, fuller, and more aligned because you are no longer spending energy on relationships that drain you. Each act of release is an act of self-empowerment, a declaration that you will no longer settle for less than what you deserve, and an invitation for the universe to bring people and experiences that resonate with your authentic self. Releasing toxicity requires courage because it often comes with fear, fear of loneliness, fear of regret, fear of being misunderstood. But the greater risk is remaining stuck in a cycle of negativity, sacrificing your potential and your peace for the comfort of familiarity. When you let go, you reclaim control of your life, your energy, and your heart. You allow space for abundance, love, opportunity, and growth, and you discover that the universe always has more for those who are ready to release what no longer serves them. Your happiness and peace should never depend on someone else's approval. This is one of the most important truths you can ever understand, yet it is also one of the hardest to accept. From a young age, we are conditioned to seek validation from others, to measure our worth through their eyes, their judgments, and their reactions. We are taught that being liked, accepted, or approved of is essential for survival, for love, and for belonging. But in reality, allowing your happiness to hinge on someone else's choices is a silent surrender of your power. It is giving away the most precious part of yourself, the ability to feel joy, peace, and contentment into the hands of people who may not even recognize your value. When your peace depends on others, you live in a constant state of expectation. Every word they say, every action they take, every silence they leave becomes a source of stress and anxiety. You overanalyze, you second guess, and you adjust yourself endlessly to fit their standards. You tiptoe around their moods, bend to their opinions, and sacrifice your needs to earn approval. But approval is fleeting, subjective, and unreliable. What feels like acceptance today can turn into rejection tomorrow. And when your happiness is tied to it, your emotional stability wavers like a fragile leaf in the wind. This is why peace and joy cannot be borrowed. They must be cultivated from within. The moment you decide that your happiness does not require approval, you reclaim control over your life. You no longer live in the shadows of others' opinions, nor do you base your self-worth on their acknowledgement. You begin to understand that validation from others is optional, not mandatory, and that your inner joy is your responsibility, not theirs. This shift is profound because it changes everything: your relationships, your decisions, your energy, and your mindset. You stop chasing people who do not see you, stop seeking praise for your efforts, and stop allowing criticism to define your reality. You recognize that peace is a choice and happiness is a decision that begins within your own heart. When you detach your emotional state from others' approval, you also begin to see people and relationships more clearly. You no longer fear disagreement or rejection because your confidence comes from your self-respect, not their judgment. You start to value authenticity over acceptance, truth over conformity, and alignment over approval. Relationships shift from being a source of stress to being a source of support. You engage with people who genuinely resonate with your energy, who lift you instead of weighing you down, and who celebrate your growth rather than trying to control it. Your connections become intentional, meaningful, and empowering because they are no longer about seeking validation. They are about mutual respect and shared energy. Allowing your happiness to depend on yourself also transforms your productivity, your focus, and your creativity. When you stop measuring your worth through someone else's eyes, your energy is no longer scattered. You are free to pursue your passions, make bold decisions, and invest in what truly matters to you. You are no longer constrained by fear of judgment or criticism, and you approach life with a clarity and confidence that others notice and respect. Your peace becomes magnetic, drawing experiences, opportunities, and people that align with your energy rather than distract from it. This principle also teaches boundaries. When you understand that your joy is independent of others, you become uncompromising about what you accept into your life. You recognize the difference between constructive influence and destructive control, between healthy guidance and manipulation. You no longer tolerate people who demand your energy without respect, who undermine your confidence, or who attempt to dictate your feelings. Letting go of dependency on approval allows you to protect your heart, honor your time, and reclaim the energy that was once wasted on pleasing others. Happiness and peace rooted in self-approval are resilient. They do not fluctuate based on someone's opinion, a social media comment, or fleeting recognition. They are constant, unwavering, and profoundly liberating. Every time you anchor your joy within yourself, you take another step toward freedom, clarity. You realize that external validation was never necessary, it was always optional, and the true source of fulfillment lies entirely within you. Letting go transforms your mindset, confidence, and emotional freedom instantly. When you hold on to people, relationships, or situations that no longer serve you, your mind becomes cluttered with doubt, anxiety, and resentment. Every interaction with someone who does not value you reminds you of your limits, your unmet needs, and the energy you have wasted. You begin to internalize their behavior as a reflection of your worth, even though the reality is that their actions reveal more about them than about you. Letting go, however, is like lifting a weight from your shoulders. It is the moment your mental and emotional space opens up and clarity floods in, your perspective shifts, and suddenly you can see your life, your choices, and your potential with a new lens, one that is free from distortion, judgment, and unnecessary attachment. The transformation begins the moment you release what holds you back. Letting go is not just an external act. It is an internal declaration that you are done allowing others to define your reality. As soon as you make that decision, your mind experiences a profound relief. The endless analysis, the repeated self-questioning, and the futile attempts to predict or control someone else's behavior fade away. In their place arises clarity, a quiet confidence that you no longer need permission, approval, or validation from anyone to live fully. Your thoughts are no longer dominated by worry or resentment. Instead, they begin to focus on growth, opportunity, and alignment with your true self. Confidence grows naturally from this process. When you detach from people who drain or diminish you, you begin to trust yourself more. You realize that you are capable of making decisions that honor your well-being and that you have the strength to navigate life on your terms. Confidence is no longer dependent on external affirmation because you have witnessed firsthand that your worth is inherent. You start to act decisively, speak authentically, and pursue your goals with vigor. Knowing that your choices are aligned with your values and energy, this self-trust is magnetic, drawing the right people and opportunities into your life while gently repelling anything that does not belong. Emotional freedom is another immediate result of letting go. Emotional freedom is the state in which your happiness, peace, and energy are no longer hostage to someone else's decisions or moods. When you hold on to people who do not value you, your emotions are constantly pulled in directions you cannot control. You feel disappointment, frustration, and even resentment, not because of your actions, but because of their inability to recognize your worth. Letting go breaks these chains. Your heart and mind are freed from the cycle of dependency, and you begin to experience peace in its purest form. You no longer react impulsively or anxiously to others' behavior. Instead, you respond thoughtfully, deliberately, and from a place of power. This shift also rewires your mindset toward abundance and growth. When you let go, you create space for what is meant for you, relationships, opportunities, experiences, and personal growth that resonate with your energy. Your mind becomes open to possibilities that were previously obscured by the weight of attachment and expectation. You begin to see life as expansive rather than limited. The fear that once held you back diminishes, replaced by the understanding that the world is abundant and that your focus should be on nurturing what uplifts you, not on fixing what drains you. Letting go also strengthens your resilience. Each act of release reinforces your ability to trust yourself, make empowered choices, and honor your boundaries. You learn that walking away is not failure, it is growth. You learn that peace is not passive, it is a conscious decision. And you learn that emotional freedom is not a distant dream, It is available the moment you stop clinging to what no longer serves you. As your mindset shifts, your confidence grows, and your emotional freedom expands. Life begins to feel lighter, brighter, and more aligned. You begin to recognize that the power to transform your reality has always been in your hands, and that by letting go, you activate it fully, instantly, and irrevocably. Choosing yourself over others' validation is the fastest path to a fulfilling life. For too long, we are conditioned to measure our worth through the eyes of others, to seek approval, recognition, and praise before we can feel worthy or at peace. We are taught that success, happiness, and love require permission from those around us, and that without their validation, our lives are incomplete. But this is a lie that robs you of power, energy, and clarity. The moment you choose yourself, your dreams, your values, your peace over the opinions or expectations of others, everything begins to shift. You begin to live in alignment with who you truly are rather than who the world expects you to be. Choosing yourself is not selfish, it is essential. It means prioritizing your emotional, mental, and physical well-being above the approval of those who may not understand your journey. It means trusting your instincts, honoring your boundaries, and making decisions based on your truth rather than the fear of judgment. When you choose yourself, you send a clear message. Your happiness is non-negotiable, your energy is sacred, and your time is too valuable to be wasted on people or situations that do not uplift or respect you. This choice is powerful because it redefines your relationship with the world, shifting you from a state of dependence and anxiety to a state of clarity, confidence, and freedom. The fastest transformation occurs when you stop seeking validation externally. Every time you chase approval, your energy is fragmented, your focus is diluted, and your peace is compromised. You overthink, overanalyze, and overextend yourself in ways that serve others but rarely serve you. But the moment you make the conscious choice to validate yourself, you reclaim that energy, refocus your attention, and align your actions with your goals and values. You begin to trust your own judgment, honor your own needs, and act in ways that reflect your true worth. Life begins to feel lighter, your mind clear, and your confidence unshakable. Choosing yourself also strengthens your boundaries. When you no longer rely on others to define your worth, you become unwilling to tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or neglect. You begin to see clearly which relationships, habits, and situations nourish your growth and which ones drain it. You make conscious decisions about who, what deserves space in your life, and you protect that space fiercely. Boundaries become a reflection of yourself, respect rather than a reaction to fear. And your relationships shift from dependency to mutual respect. People are drawn to your authenticity, your confidence, and your clarity, and you attract connections that align with your energy naturally and effortlessly. This choice accelerates personal growth. When you prioritize yourself, you free your mind from the weight of external expectations, allowing space for creativity, insight, and focus. You stop wasting energy trying to please everyone and start channeling it into your goals, passions, and purpose. You begin to take bold steps you might have avoided before, pursue opportunities that excite you, and engage fully with life without hesitation or fear. Choosing yourself is the fastest way to build a life that resonates with your vision, because you are no longer held back by the fear of disapproval or the need for validation. Emotional freedom is another immediate benefit. The constant pull of seeking approval is exhausting. It ties your mood, your confidence, and your decisions to the unpredictable behavior of others. When you choose yourself, you untangle your emotions from their influence. You no longer experience anxiety over judgment or disappointment over unreciprocated attention. Your emotional state becomes your own, stable and self-sustaining. This freedom allows you to operate from a place of power rather than reaction, creating space for clarity, joy, and fulfillment. Choosing yourself is a radical act of empowerment. It is a declaration that your life, energy, and happiness are yours to govern. Every time you prioritize your needs, trust your instincts, and honor your values over the expectations or validation of others, you activate a force within yourself that is unstoppable, magnetic, and transformative. Your confidence deepens, your peace strengthens, and your life begins to reflect the fullness of your potential. When you choose to let go, to release what no longer serves you, and to honor your own worth above all else, you step into a life that is lighter, freer, and more aligned with your true potential. Every chain you break, every expectation you release, and every toxic connection you remove creates space for growth, joy, and abundance. Your peace is no longer negotiable. Your happiness no longer dependent on someone else. And your energy no longer wasted on those who cannot see your value. The moment you embrace this truth, everything begins to shift instantly. Doors open, opportunities appear, and people who resonate with your energy naturally enter your life. Your mindset sharpens, your confidence soars, And your heart expands with clarity and freedom. You realize that the power to transform your reality was always within you. Letting go is not the end. It is the beginning of your most authentic, empowered, and fulfilling life. You are no longer waiting for anyone to validate you or appreciate you. You are standing in your own light, embracing your worth, and living with the unstoppable energy that comes from choosing yourself first. In that choice lies transformation. In that freedom lies peace, and in that clarity lies the life you were always meant to live.